Hey good people, today I am going to be decluttering more eyeshadow palettes. I told you it's going to be an ongoing declutter over here because we are getting this collection down. Yes, I know I just did a video about some things that I bought, but guess what? They weren't eyeshadow palettes. I'll tell you that, they weren't. These eyeshadow palettes are going to go. I am overwhelmed and my makeup collection, especially the eyeshadow palettes, are bringing me anxiety. So this is a rolling declutter. I am really hoping that by the end of the year, I would say maybe even halfway through, probably the end of the year, we will have really gotten this collection down considerably, and that's what I am hoping. So if you want to see the palettes that are going, I don't even think these are on the chopping block. Keep watching this video, let me know what you think, and definitely consider joining the community because I'd love to have you back. All right, let's get started. So how are you? I cannot complain. I am drinking a Spindrift. I'm making it look fancy. I'm romanticizing my water with cucumbers and oranges. I've got some wings waiting for me over there and everybody is chilling. We are getting over being sick this week. I am feeling on the up and up and really excited about filming. So let me know how you're doing in the comment section or the chat, whichever you prefer. And if this is your first time here, my name is Kara. And over here, I'm just trying to figure it on out with makeup, with life, with everything. So hopefully this is gonna be a place that you wanna come back to because we are getting it together. All right, so let's go into these palettes. And you know what? I had a little small pile out here a couple days ago. And was it this morning? It was this morning. I just got up because I didn't go to work today, but I was up early and I was like, you know what? Like the palettes don't even fit on the shelves. Like it is a hazard in my bedroom and I just can't do this anymore. Every single one of these palettes that you're gonna see are good. There's no real bad palettes here. And I'm gonna start prefacing my declutter videos, a lot of my videos, by just saying almost all the makeup is great these days. There may be preferences, little nuances, color stories, whatever, but the quality is pretty good. So when you see the palettes that I'm gonna declutter, it's not because they're horrible. It's just because I think they can get more use in someone else's collection and not just sitting in mine. I really think that you should use your makeup. And I always say about eyeshadows, especially my indie ones, my singles, is they deserve to be more than swatched. I'm not going to be a channel that needs to have a palette just so I can reference it and show it. I don't need to do that. So let's get started. Let's start with Patricia. I remember feeling like this about this palette when I bought it and saw it in person. I did not need it. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna keep it and do a video. And that is the only time I used it. And this is the Bridgerton 2 palette. I'm gonna keep my first one. I do like that one. It has its place, but this one does not. You know, this one has the rosy tones. What's up? Can you have some ketchup? Of course. Do you need help getting it?
No.
Oh, you don't need help. You need ketchup. You can get some, but don't get too much. Remember what we talked about. Because don't get too much. You can get a little bit. I'm trying to talk with Marky about acne and sugar, and it's not just in candy. It's also in other things like ketchup and barbecue sauce. And he's got a serious ketchup and barbecue sauce situation right now. All right, so let's take a look at the Bridgerton palette here. I'm trying to avoid the light. There it is. This palette is beautiful. But, you know, this gold is very common for Pat McGrath. These two shades are very similar to the shades in the original Bridgerton palette. This almost reminds me of a Skin Show shade that she has in all of her motherships. And we have no shortage of pink champagne-y shimmers. So this is not a palette that, I mean, I'm going to pull out, oh, let me get that Bridgerton one. The original one sticks out to me here and there sometimes if I'm trying to do a certain look, but not this one. And I remember the feeling, having that feeling when this one arrived. It doesn't have a place even in my Pat McGrath collection at this point. And I did not purchase the new mothership at this point. I'm sure that eventually I will get it, but I'm gonna get it on a sale, and I'm not really interested in getting it during the Sephora sale at like a deeper discount. Right. This palette, I have gone back and forth. I'm still kind of going back and forth on this one, but I'm not gonna use it. And I had this on the chopping block last time and was like, no, I have to keep it. I really like this palette. The quality is still very good, but I'm just not gonna go for this palette at all. This is the KKW and Winnie Harlow palette. It's served its place in my collection. I'm sure I didn't get a ton of use out of it. You know, her palettes were magnetic. I was like, at least she did that. Anyway, it's just time. It's also a very old palette. Not that that stopped me from using a palette, but it's just time. The next one you might be surprised to see, but I never even filmed with this. I started to and I lost my motivation. That says it all. This is the Eum Artistry palette. This is the Harmony one. I purchased this because my friend Jamie and also Alicia Archer, they both really like Eum, and I wanted to try them out. But this almost reminds me of a Viseart. Viseart is amazing quality, but I don't use the palettes. It does not matter how great the quality is if you don't use it. And that's really the bottom line. There is nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with the quality here. When I look at the rose that I would use, I probably wouldn't use this like more pinky rose here. It's just not really calling to me. And I think someone else would really appreciate and love this palette. This palette also is nice because you can slide this bottom part out and pop out the shades. There was another Eum palette that was a color story that I think would have been more up my alley, but this has just been sitting. It's been sitting to the point where I think I did maybe one look, or it looks like maybe I did 2 looks. Some of these shades are untouched. It is time for this palette to exit my collection. Okay, these next 2 palettes were on the chopping block last time. This did not sit right with me because I really do like Lethal Cosmetics. I like the traditional Lethal Cosmetics palettes with the big square pans. These quality is great. The quality is probably the same, but I do not go for them. So we have the Midnight Serenade, and if you saw the last declutter, this was one of the ones I think Ariel had her initials on. She put Post-its on all of the palettes that she wanted, and I remember taking this off like, no, I'm really not getting rid of this. The fact that it's coming up again lets me know that it's time. I also have the Mellow Grove palette. When I ordered this one, I knew right away when I ordered it that I didn't need to order it. I ordered it because they have free shipping. And I was like, oh, I didn't get this one. This one is brand new and it's beautiful. I am gonna let this one go. Every time I look at this one, I'm kind of like, am I sure that I want to let this one go? I'm sure about Midnight Serenade, but I really question, do I want to let this one go? I think I'm going to, just because it's the second time that I've done this, and the fact that I haven't used it. All right, next we have this palette. This is Vivid Rose from Give Me Glow Cosmetics. They have made their pans smaller now, which I love that they did that. And this is gorgeous. I just don't see myself wearing it. Well, it's beautiful to look at. I'm probably not going to swatch anything in this video, especially if I'm going to rehome it. I don't want to put my fingers in it or anything like that because the Give Me Glow shimmers are phenomenal. I am certain that they have improved their matte formula, especially in their smaller pans. Did do a video with the new Christmas Morning and Vintage Rose. But yeah, I'm going to let Vivid Rose go. I think I have enough rose stuff from Pat McGrath to last a lifetime. This one has served its time. This is another palette that I don't recall using beyond the videos. I guess part of me is thinking it's because I have so many palettes that I don't really have the opportunity to use them beyond the video. But they're palettes that I just don't even think about, you know, and if I don't even think about it, it just lets me know that like it's gotta go and I just have too much. All right, this palette, I know. So this is Fall Magic Remastered. I have the original Fall Magic from Unearthly Cosmetics and I'm not letting, I love that one. I haven't worn it recently, but when I think of my Unearthly palettes, Fall Magic, the original is one of them. I like when they switched to this format. This one came out, and then Sorcerer's Smoke, Sorcerer's Smoke is the one. I love that one, but I'm gonna let Fall Magic go. Quality is fantastic. The shimmers are great, but I'm gonna let it go. And it's hard because I feel guilt decluttering or letting something go from a brand that I'm affiliated with. I don't even know if this was gifted or I purchased it, because lately I haven't been getting PR from Unearthly, and I understand that because I haven't really been doing a whole lot with indie makeup. I haven't been doing a whole lot with makeup, period. So I totally get that and respect that, and things change and we all evolve and change. I still really value the palettes and the products that I have from Unearthly Cosmetics, but it doesn't mean I have to keep everything, so I gotta let go of that guilt. Now, another one that I'm gonna let go is from Glaminatrix Cosmetics. This is Into the Night. The reason that I have this one on the list is just because the color story is a bit disjointed for me. I look for like more cohesive things where it doesn't matter what I put together. There's ease to it and there's no thought. This palette doesn't really give me a lot of ease. There's just some shades like in here. I'm just not really gonna use them like that. When I look at this color story, you know, I really have to think about it. And when I do my makeup, I really don't have that kind of time. And I never did, you know, unless I was doing it for a video. But in real life, I don't. Now this one was gifted from one of my subscribers. She had an extra one of these. I was really excited to get it, but you know, sometimes you have things where you're so excited to have it that you want to save it. Like, oh no, I can't use it yet. And what ended up happening was I never used it. And this is Silent Night, and this is also from Glaminatrix Cosmetics. I remember when this palette came out, a lot of people were really loving this palette. This is another one where I feel like the color story is a bit disjointed for me. Shimmers from Glaminatrix are gorgeous. I think their mattes are standard mattes. I don't think there's anything special about them, but I'm gonna let it go. I've had it all this time, and you know, I appreciate you sending this to me. And I loved it so much that I just wanted to save it, you know, and we have to stop doing that. I think it's Glitter Fallout. She talks about using the good stuff now. We got to do it. I have 3 here from Kidos. These are Futurism palettes, and these were on the chopping block before. You know, Sashimi City. I don't know. Well, I really like Sashimi City. But I think about palettes that I gravitate towards a lot, like Natasha, Denona, I Need a Warm. You know, you have these shades in here, and then you're not gonna have the shimmer. Now the shimmer in here, this one right here, is it Pink Ginger, I believe. It's a beautiful pink to gold flip, but I do know I have that shade in a single. There's a couple places where I believe I have that pink to gold shimmer. So I'm not really sure if it's worth keeping. The mattes are they're just neutral mattes. It's not something I'm using. Part of me wants to keep it because this Kidos doesn't seem to exist anymore. I also have Astro Pink. Astro Pink is probably the least used. I'm looking at the boxes, and Astro Pink is the one that's mostly intact, which means, oh, it's a different box too. So that's probably why, because it opens like that, where these kind of have like that envelope style. So never mind, take all of that back. This is kind of a disjointed color story for me in a way. Like, you got your 2 mattes, you have a shimmer here, and you have this plum matte, you got a bright blue and a black. I mean, this almost looks unused. They had a green one, a Futurism one, but that was like before my time. I would have loved to get my hands on that one. I have Lunar Lavender here, and I really don't need to keep this one. I've got enough purples in my collection. If I'm going for a purple palette, you know, I'm thinking about like my Melt, like She's in Parties. You know, I have palettes that come to mind. All right, next I have Bunnies. But this is not the OG Bunnies. This is the remastered Bunnies. A lot more pastel-y than the OG. The OG, it had circle pans, and some were big, some were small, but the colors were, even though those are colors that I'm not even wearing, like, I love that Bunnies palette. I think it's beautiful. I love the packaging of Bunnies. So I do have my OG that I'm gonna keep, but I am going to rehome this one. Now this is magnetic. If I want to, I could just take out the shades, but we know I'm a palette girl. rehomed this one. I think some people may have preferred the lighter look. And this kind of gives you like those Easter vibes. But the OG, that was the one. I'm not sure why the decision was made to lighten the shades. I like that they made the pans all the same size. Made it smaller, more compact. But I'm keeping my Big Bunnies palette. So I'm going to declutter this one. This one, oh my gosh. Is Shroud even open? Dark Academia. This is the one that took, what, 6 months to get here? Maybe what happened with Shroud just kind of left a bad taste in my mouth, maybe. I don't know. I don't really feel a way. Now, when this palette was announced and I saw it, I was like, this is great. Like, all the mattes in here are mattes that I would wear, and then the 3 shimmers. But, you know, when it came, the moment had kind of passed. So that's how I feel about that. All right, y'all, I have 2 from Blends, and Blends has some of the best mattes on the market, but there are just a couple palettes that I just think I can let go. The first one is Sugar and Grunge. I thought Sugar and Grunge was gonna be right up my alley, and when I saw it, it wasn't. I didn't purchase it until I think it was on sale. And now I think it's discontinued, which is like, makes me feel like, oh man, should I keep it? But no, I think that's even more reason for me to rehome it to somebody that would really appreciate the colors in this palette. I'm just not really gonna use these colors. There's not really one row where I'm like, oh, I should save it for this. I mean, I didn't even swatch all the shades or anything. So this is almost like new, and somebody else will really enjoy this palette, or there might be somebody out there that's like, I missed it. Like, I missed getting it before it disappeared. And I'm also gonna let the Dollhouse palette go. And you know what? This is gonna be my second time letting it go. I bought it, I sold it, and then I rebought it. Sometimes you just need to go with your gut. I barely touched it. One of the other things is the amount of shades. It's just a very big palette. And that can sometimes, now this is when she was doing the organized layouts, so it's not as overwhelming to find a choice or a row or column that you want to stay in. For me to feel like this the second time, that's a sign. All right, next we are gonna go with a couple luxury palettes. So this one is Jungle by Dior, and back in 2020 these quints were like a big thing. The Dior formula, I mean, I'm probably not going to rehome this to anyone. I'm just going to let it go. The formula is not for everyone. I mean, it's a very easy to use formula, but if you like real punchy shimmers and things like that, you may not really like the Dior formula, because the shimmers, they're nice, but they're satiny. The mattes are great. And these quints have a 6-month shelf life, although they last a lot longer. So this is not, this looks beat up. So I'm going to let Jungle go. Plus, I have a lot of grungy greens. When I think about this color story, it's not the same, but you know, these are shades that, you know, giving me like Natasha, Denona, Yucca vibes and things like that, those green earthy palettes. So then we have another green palette. This is from Thomas Ford. This is the Valoris Khaki palette, the cream formula. I think my sister might like this one. So I'm gonna see if she wants this. This is great for like one and dones. Again, this is very similar to Jungle. I can't remember how these creams performed on me, but I know people really liked the Tom Ford cream formula. I just keep this for, I don't know why, but this is, I was just keeping it for nostalgia. I have a video, I remember doing a bloopers video, and the boys were so young. Brian and August were in the video. This is Super Blue from Charlotte Tilbury, and I have the liner that goes with it. It's cool, but y'all know I don't like blue eyeshadow really. This is just not something I'm gonna be wearing. I know it's not available anymore. Quality is really nice, but you know, I love my Charlotte Tilbury Bejeweled Eyes to Hypnotize palette. I think that is such a great palette, and I do have the Fire Rose, and I'm good. I have one Odin's Eye palette here. This was on the chopping block last time, and I was like, oh, the color story is so pretty. I just can't. Soul Moon 2. I love looking at it. I think it is really beautiful. I don't know. Every time I see it, I'm like, ooh, maybe I could do this or that. Maybe, and speculating versus what I'm really going to do. are two different things. The mattes, even though, you know, again, this is another color story where it's like you have these shades here, which it's like a whole separate color story than this one. But I love this blue matte, but I'm like, am I really wearing that blue matte? The answer is no. So, you know what? No, I just answered my own question. Now, the rest of the palettes you're gonna see are from Nomad Cosmetics. And I have a lot of palettes from Nomad. I really do have to downsize. Also, Nomad has changed their formula and upgraded it over time. So I'm gonna let some of them go. And I'm gonna let go of the guilt of, oh, I have a code with Nomad or they send me palettes for free. Some of these palettes I did by myself. I just have to really think about what I'm doing with my collection, and the collection is meant to be used. That's really the bottom line. So I'm gonna start with the Tokyo Harajuku palette. These shades are very pastel-y. They're just not shades that I'm gonna really wear. I do have my Natasha Denona pastel palette if I'm really wanting to wear a pastel look. I think the shimmers are okay. They've improved their shimmers a lot. And what happened was, I think what happened was when Nomad started sending me PR, I wanted to go back and get all the Nomad palettes. No one should feel like they have to do that. And Nomad didn't make me feel like I had to do that. This is just me wanting to collect. I did the same thing with Pat McGrath. And so now I just have all of this stuff. So I think it's beautiful. And I love, you know, looking at the back and looking at the inspiration and the names and all of those things. But I cannot hold on to everything. And that's okay. Now this one, I was not a fan of this palette. This is the Provence France palette. It wasn't the mattes, it was the shimmers. I just really did not vibe with this palette. It's a unique color story, but I just didn't really vibe with the shimmers. The mattes are always great though from Nomad. And I have some major favorite Nomad palettes, and we can talk about them in another video. Now, usually during the summertime, Nomad comes out with some pretty colorful palettes. Oh, Ariel has her name on this one, see? So like she may really get some use out of it, but probably not, because Ariel doesn't wear eyeshadow, but I don't know. Now this is the Paradise Islands eyeshadow palette. It looks like I may have done a little bit of swatching. I love, now this shade right here, I wish I could just take that out. That is gorgeous. I love that shade, but I know I have it somewhere else. Yeah, I definitely think I may have swatched it or done a look or two. And it's a very cute color story, but it's not something that I'm gonna wear. And it's hard because, you know, some things are discontinued and you wanna just hold on to it. We have the Florida Keys, and it's so pretty. Like, they're so pretty to look at, but then I'm wondering, like, Kara, would you wear it? What kind of looks are you doing these days? Like, that would warrant you to keep the palette. And then I wonder, well, Kara, what happens if you want to start doing colorful eyeshadow again? I still have plenty of colorful eyeshadow shades, you know what I mean? And I can't really worry about that at this time. I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. I'm not getting rid of all my colorful eyeshadow palettes. This one is the Marrakesh Morocco palette. I know this is another one that I purchased when I was trying to collect all of the palettes. And this one is full of matte and satin shades. I think I've done some swatching, a little bit of swatching, maybe. But I know I didn't use this palette on the eyes. I didn't, after all this time. So it's pretty. I like that. I mean, most of it, if you look here, you've got a lot of neutral options. No, Monteverde, Costa Rica. Let's look at this one. Oh, this one's pretty. I think I did use this one. But I didn't even swatch all of these. The mattes are untouched in this palette. So look at that. When I look at palettes, I try to see the cohesiveness of the look. And that's one of the things that has changed. You know, when I first started, I was just trying to do like 10 colors on the lid, all these different colors. Now I'm looking for like a certain look. And sometimes it's hard to see with palettes like this. But again, it's beautiful. I think this is a color lover's dream. And I thought this was so cute, like the packaging. And Nomad continues like to outdo themselves, which I love how they continue to do that. All right, the Whistler palette was not one of my favorites. even when it released. Gives you some cool looks, but I did learn a lot about the Whistler Village and the Snow Lodge, because I always try to look up the destinations to learn. It's just like a place that I'd love to go. And I love just the concept of Nomad and how they are inspired by the destinations and how they give back to the destinations. But this is one, I've thought about letting this one go for some time. I think a lot of it was just me feeling guilt. So self-induced guilt. All right, we have the Berlin Underground palette. I know Ash got this for me. Again, I was trying to collect everything, you know, and I was like, oh, I don't have this one. And this one is something I'll wear now, honestly. The color story is great. And last but not least, I have one of the Nomad Air palettes, and I really like this one. It's just that I have a couple things that I'm thinking of that have this very similar color story, and I even just made a build your own palette that had almost the exact color story. So this one is the Oslo Nordic Cool Inspiration. This is when I put this out on the pile this morning, I think it was more so because I like warmer tones on me, and because I have a couple palettes, like I'm thinking even like my Platinum Bronze from Pat McGrath, that was my very first Pat McGrath palette, and I have a couple of other cool palettes or palettes that have these types of shades. I don't know how many of these types of color stories that I need to keep. I know that someone would love to have this, and I haven't used it, so I just don't want to mess over it. I've messed over enough. So those are the palettes. So let's count them up. All right, y'all. So today we are decluttering. Make sure that's everything. 29 palettes, and adding that to the 63 brings us up to 92 palettes. And y'all, I still have probably hundreds more palettes. So we're gonna keep going, but I'm up to 92. Let me know your thoughts on these palettes. Are any of these your favorites, or any of these palettes that are like go-tos? Let me know your thoughts. I love continuing to talk about makeup and how we're evolving and changing, and I think that's the cool part about being in this community. I'd love to know your thoughts and keep the conversation going, and I will have more. So thank you so much for taking out some of your time and hanging out with me for another one today. I hope this was therapy for you. It always is for me. And until I see you again, make sure you are being gentle with yourself, talk to yourself nice, stay safe, and you know I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.